If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing to the channel. When you do, make sure you hit the notification bell. That means that you will be informed of when a new video has been released. If you would like to take that support one step further, you can do that via Patreon, which is an optional monthly service. You can donate money towards the channel, or you can go over to Ko-fi.com, and for the price of a coffee you can help donate towards the channel as well. Links for all of those will be in the description of the video, and without further ado, enjoy the video.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching another non-league interview. I am delighted to be able to say that today's guest on the channel is none other than recently appointed Debenham assistant manager. That just sounds weird. Alex Egelton, formerly of Felixstowe. Alex, how you doing, mate? You well?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thanks, buddy. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. First couple of days back in the office, which has been very weird, and being away from the little man. But apart from that, no, absolutely fine, mate. What about you? How have you've been working from home, haven't you? From what I've seen on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, I've been at home since mid-March, so I've got fully used to working from home now, and I think I'm now at the point where I find it weird going back.
Yeah.
Like I've lost all social skills. Like I can't be talked to anyone anymore. So, but yeah, I'm finding it all right. I'm sort of in that mid stage where I'm very used to it, but at the same time ready to get back out again. So
yeah, definitely.
Away.
What's I asked a question to everyone. What's life been like without your regular non-league football fix? Because for me, I found it difficult at the beginning. I then kind of eased off, and it was almost an acceptance of, a few months ago, it looked like non-league was not going to be happening at all next season. The fears and the stories that we heard, it was very much, we've got to get used to this. And now it appears the last couple of weeks, the activity started happening again. Everyone's now getting a bit of a buzz about it. So yeah. How have you adjusted to life without it?
Pretty much spot on, mate. Pretty much same here. So the first couple of weeks, I was like, it's a bit of a break. This will be nice, bit of a recharge. And then it sort of sunk in, like, this might not come back for a while, and the fears of that. And obviously, a lot of things went quiet over a period. We know there was not a lot of chatter going on between teams and players, and as you can imagine, there's nothing really to be discussing.
Yeah.
Since all the news has started coming out in the last, I don't know, maybe 4 odd weeks, it's all the buzz has started coming back, and it's starting to feel like a normal going into pre-season.
Yeah.
Where you're getting that buzz of like, what players are going to go to what club, and how are they going to do, how are they going to strengthen from next season. That buzz is now starting to kick in again, so it's a good feeling. It's nice to know we've got sort of a guideline-ish date of when we can start going back. So that buzz is definitely here again.
Definitely, because it was quite weird when your news came out. It was almost right in the middle of nothing happening at all, and then all of a sudden Debenham make this announcement. It's like, whoa, oh my God, there's actually something to talk about. Something in the furlough none is finally happening. So, before we kind of move on, talking about Debenham, let's reflect on your time at Felixstowe, because you have been at that club for a long time. How many years were you associated with the club, do you know?
Well, originally I grew up with the club. So when we first moved down from Essex, I was involved with them when they were Kingsfleet Falcons, then into Walton United. And when they merged into Felixstowe and Walton, I was still a youth player then.
Wow.
My parents used to run the bar in the old clubhouse. So I was like spending every school night there, during the pre-season and build up to pre-season. I was always up there with my parents.
Wow.
So I get to watch the first team train and see all the lot of new signings and that come in. Then I went away for a little while, played for Trimley for a couple of years into my under-18s. Then I went back and played for the reserves, Felixstowe and Walton, so that was the season. And then went into Sundays for a little while in the SIL. And then was back there officially in this sort of stint for just about 3 seasons.
Incredible. So a long, long time. It might be a daft question considering how long you've been there, but what does the club mean to you?
Oh, it's massive. It is massive. I mean, it was a massive part of my childhood. It sort of, for many years, it spent more than just a football club. It was like pretty much a second home throughout my years, like between like 8 and 12, I think it was. so it did become like a home. And, a lot of the people that are still involved now, you class as like your aunties and uncles and, like that growing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did and still does mean a hell of a lot to me. And, I can now sort of go back to saying I'm, now a supporter of the first team, and I can follow them from a distance and enjoy seeing what they're doing.
Yeah. So talk to me about the kind of coaching roles and what you've done at Felixstowe, because obviously when I suppose kind of first met, you were I believe assistant manager for the reserves, weren't you? I think I was correct in saying. So what kind of roles have you had at Felixstowe in a coaching capacity?
So when I first got brought in by Watty and Kev O'Donnell, I was originally just going to be assistant manager helping the reserves. And then I ended up becoming assistant to the under-18s as well, because it was the same management team, so it just made sense.
Yep.
Really enjoyed that for a season. And then when the manager left, I then become caretaker for a couple of games of the reserves, and that's when Hilliard got appointed.
Yeah.
So then he, luckily he wanted to keep holding me there, and the club wanted to keep me, so I was his number 2 for a little while, and I sort of helped out a little bit with the under-18s with their coaching. And then sadly, when he departed, I then took it over as joint manager with Craig Chidlow.
Right.
So for the last 2 or 3 months of, not last season before, I was joint manager. I was really buzzing and raring to go, thinking, I'll take it on as manager full time. But that's when he pulled me aside at one of the start of pre-season and said that we're going to promote you into a first team coach and get me in the first team setup. So I was down as a first team coach, but I was doing a lot more of the, assisting the coaches that were there, helping to take warm-ups and do some of the goalkeeper sessions, but a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, like the analytic and data. Right. Taking notes on other teams and watching what they're doing to feed that information into the management team at the time.
Okay.
I absolutely love doing that. I'm, quite a busybody. I more than happily spend my evenings, scrolling through YouTube and match notes and all things like that. I do that now anyway. That sort of thing that's embedded into me now.
Right.
And then when Boards and Crumpy come in, I was still involved with the first team for a couple of weeks. And then they put me into like a youth development coach role.
Okay.
So utilised me a lot more on the pitch. That's one thing I wasn't doing enough of, was coaching on the pitch week in, week out.
Yeah.
So I took control of coaching the reserve team and the under-18s. So I'd go and I'd do all their training sessions. I would do the warm-ups and things like that and take notes of what the players are doing and make suggestions to the first team management of what players should be pushing up from the 18s to the reserves.
Right.
Who they should be looking at reserve of the first team, which is a very, very good role. Obviously, it was a lot of hours, but it was a good role. Really enjoyed that. And then when Kev Baker sadly departed the club for the reserves, I was then asked to look after them for the rest of the season. So it was my first opportunity of being like the manager on my own. This is my team. And then boom, coronavirus. Brilliant.
Yes.
So yeah, that all happened. And then, yes. And then from there, that was the sort of the end of the tale for me at Felixstowe Walton.
That's a hell of a lot of roles. You mentioned about the analytical side of it. I think I might know the answer to this one, but do you prefer being out there on the pitch rather than doing the data kind of stuff? Because I suppose there's pros and cons to both sides of the game, really, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. While I was doing it, I really enjoyed it. But once I then stopped doing that and went back on the pitch, I then realised, I miss doing this. I miss being out there and, sort of giving ideas out and running proper sessions. And, you can build them over 3 or 4 weeks rather than just jumping in to help out.
Yeah.
I love doing what I was doing at the time, but I much prefer being back on the pitch.
Definitely. So how did it come about then that the Debenham approach happened? Talk me through that kind of process, because when it first came in, there may have been a bit of reluctance from yourself to leave something that's very comfortable, having been at Felixstowe for a long time.
Yeah.
So what happened during that time, and what exactly about Debenham was it that attracted you to that position?
Well, it was pretty much like you say about the whole comfort thing. I had a chat with the first team management about taking on the reserves next season. I had my sort of ideas of what I'd like to have done with it, because I'm sort of very based as a development role, so I wanted to really enhance that development side of things as much as possible. And then I decided, right, now is the time for me to come out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
so I've done this development thing. I want to get into a scenario where it is all about results and getting best out of players week in, week out, and seeing things come off.
Yeah.
I absolutely love my time working at the club and working with everyone there. There's some really, really great people at Felixstowe, and as you can see with what they're doing at the moment, it's a club that a lot of people want to be involved in.
Yeah.
But for me, I need to be selfish and realise for me to take my coaching experience to the next level, I need to go try new things and get into new environments.
Yeah.
I've always admired Debenham from a distance. I've got a few mates that have played for them a couple of years, and they've always said how much they love it over there. And it's a nice family-run club, and that's things that mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
So I sort of made the decision that I was going to leave Felixstowe. Very, very tough decision, as you can imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
I've had to make for a while. And then I did know that Guy was looking for an assistant over at Debenham. So I just chucked him a message, said, are you up for having a chat? He's like, yeah, definitely, not a problem. We had a chat the next day, and there wasn't much more to be said. It was, this is what we're outlining to do. I bought into it straight away, and it was a no-brainer.
Right.
Been thoroughly enjoying it ever since, apart from the fact I've not been able to meet up the players just yet, but
yeah,
I'm thoroughly enjoying being a part of it.
Yeah, because I suppose from your own personal perspective, when you are involved in either the reserves or the youth, you're developing players for somebody else to take on and then really then push them up to the upper limit. You are like the beginning part of somebody's career.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's probably one of the main advantages about going to a club like Debenham and being a part of a first team setup, is that those guys are already established, or they're past that youth level, and it's now down to you, and it's solely your responsibility as part of that overall setup to really kind of take those guys onto the next level. Would you agree with that?
I definitely agree. Yeah. I also think that even some of the players that I've probably not had much exposure working with these sort of ages of players, apart from when I was with the first team for a couple of months. You can always improve. You can always learn new things. You can always implement your own sort of styles and ideas onto a player.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm looking forward to. And I'm also looking forward to seeing how some of these players, their backgrounds, because they've obviously been about for a few years, what things they've learned, and anything that I can pick up from them to enhance myself.
Yeah.
But from what I see, that what they're doing at the club is, it's a very long-term project. They've got their goals and what they want to be doing and pushing up the league table. And I wouldn't have left Felixstowe for anything less, really. It's definitely something I want to be a part of.
So was it the project? Was that the main thing that kind of sold you on the club? Because it's all well and good having an idea about how you want things to be done, but it's the amount of detail, I suppose, somebody's prepared to go into within a plan, rather than just, we want top half this season, then we want promotion, then we want to stay in the next division. There's got to be some sort of detail into that. So did Guy have a real thorough, detailed plan of how he wants things to be done?
He did indeed. Me and him haven't stopped talking about what our plans are for next season. Obviously, I won't go into too much detail of what they are, but
yeah, of course,
there's like I say, the major sort of plans you can say is that we are looking to go up the table, looking to be competitive in the cups if they do happen.
Yeah,
so there's a real eagerness to push on, not just we're happy where we finish this season. We can just build off that. It's we really want to push higher and compete with the likes of your Mulbartons and your Marchtowns and all things like that. The teams that are up the top.
Yeah.
So that's that eagerness and the keenness to do that was the bit that really sold it to me.
Yeah. What do you think you're going to be able to bring to the table for Debenham in terms of what are your main characteristics as a coach and as a person?
Loud. A lot of energy, a lot of new fresh ideas, stuff and experience that I've took off the managers and coaches I've worked around at Felixstowe, and being around that sort of step 4 environment and the professionalism that was there. That's something I can hope to bring to that dressing room, and to everything they do, is that taking it from here up a level.
Yeah.
Obviously what they've got there is good. Obviously where they finished the league was a great finish for them, and they're finishing off in good form. So I'm hoping that some of the ideas and techniques that I can try and bring into it is something fresh to the club.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
I suppose from yourself as well, with the amount of coaches and managers that you have worked with,
Mm.
well, some people, and in terms of a club perspective, it might be a bit unsettling to have a changeover of personnel on a regular basis. But for you as an individual, I can imagine that would have been highly beneficial, at being at such a young age in coaching, that you can draft on all this knowledge and experience and just take little bits that you want from each person and really mold into your own game.
100%. That's exactly what I did. Always be talking about ideas and the experiences they had, and what would you do in this scenario, and always picking the brains and taking that on. And that's one thing that I do always thrive on is listening to opinions and listening to ideas and taking it in, because all it takes is that one person to say, I might have done this bit different. Completely change your mindset. And I found that a lot working with Pete's Rivian when he was over at the club.
Okay.
The experience that he's had, working at top professional level, and little ideas that he's picked off managers and coaches that he's worked with has now passed on to me, and it's sort of like, I never would have thought of that, but it's something so simple.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all right.
No, sorry, I was going to say, would you say he's the person that you've gained the most from in your time in coaching and management?
I've gained quite a lot of the coaches, well, pretty much all of them that we've worked with over at Felixstowe. There was a lot of his that really stuck out because obviously he has that experience, that name within football. Being the head of coaching academy at West Ham and Watford, and Ipswich Town assistant manager. You sort of, when he's listening, you're like, yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But every single coach and manager that I work with at the club, I've picked off bits from, and their different experiences at different levels. You can't just listen to the pro coaches because, like I say, it's a completely different environment.
Yeah, of course.
We're dealing with. So sometimes you do need to speak to those that have been to them grotty little non-league places on a Tuesday night, and dealt with the showers being cold after a game and all them sort of things. So you do need to learn from that environment as well to be able to grow and adapt into what we're playing in.
Definitely. Let's look forward to next season then. At the moment, we are still... Things are easing. We appear to be on the right track now with getting next season back up and running. As we mentioned at the beginning, it looked like at one point that it wasn't going to happen at all. Now, I have heard rumours of certain dates. Now, I'm not going to start spouting those online. I don't know if that's true or not. But for you, has it been a bit of a source of frustration that you haven't really been able to get going straight away at a new club? Or do you think it's maybe come as a bit of an advantage that you've been able to just sit back, really discuss what you want to do with Guy, get a really clear picture, and then you can start training later on?
I'd say I'm like sort of bang in the middle of that.
Right.
Originally, when it was first announced that I was coming across, you sort of, right, I want to get things going straight away, and as you would, you sort of going gun-ho. But luckily, with the times that, like I say, I have been able to step back and have real good, deep conversations with Guy and work out what the plan is, and not just rushing into what how we're looking to strengthen the squad, and if we are doing it in the right environment, in the right way. So yeah, it has been a bit of a blessing as well. And I've got to, only via WhatsApp, I've got to know the players a little bit as well, and get the chat going. So I'm not just walking into the changing room day one and they've got no idea who I am. So yeah, that will help. So when pre-season does eventually start, they'll know a little bit about me and know, had conversations and things like that. So it will be an advantage, I think.
Definitely. You may not want to reveal too much based on targets for next season, but the club finished 9th last year.
Yeah.
What ideally would you say would be the aims? Now, I know everyone's going to say to be as competitive as possible, but have you guys set targets from a league perspective, or is it more, as you were saying at the beginning, more about a bigger picture and let's try and build something for a longer term?
I think that you're always going to look at the bigger picture overall, but to be looking at the bigger picture, you've got to be progressing from day to day. For me personally, I'd like to be saying push towards top 6.
Yeah.
If everything pre-season goes right and we can strengthen in the right way and keep the players that we do want, yeah, definitely. You can't see why we wouldn't be hitting top 6.
Yeah.
That's sort of where I'd like us to be. Obviously discussions have been ongoing with a few people, and some players from other local teams have expressed interest in coming over pre-season and trying things out, which is obviously a good thing because it's a club that people can buy into. If you've got people messaging saying, "Yeah, I'll come along and yeah, I'll give this a look," you're not really getting on your hands and knees saying, "Please come over, come have a try out." And
yeah,
it's good, and like I say, especially from other local teams and good players that are used to this level as well, it's a major plus. So. Without reading too much, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Now, I mean, I think to be honest, you've landed and have got a very good position there in terms of the club that you're going to. I've been over there several times myself for match day experiences, and they have been so welcoming. Guy is a fantastic person to talk to. Really, really is a nice bloke, and I think that you are going to fit in very well at that football club. I'm excited to see how things go for you, to be honest, because you can be known as a one man club, and I think for you to be able to get out, as you said, out of that comfort zone and try something new, you must be absolutely buzzing to get going. I bet you're chomping at the bit now, aren't you?
Especially now, like things are starting to progress. That 100% just cannot wait to get going now.
Yeah,
and just want to be able to prove that I can be successful at this sort of level and push on with the club. So
yeah,
just cannot wait to get going now.
Definitely. Well, I wish you all the best of luck, mate. As I said, you've got yourself a good club there and good people around you. So enjoy it, make the most of it, and I hope, for Debenham's perspective, that it's a good campaign, because they've always been one of those teams that, from what I've watched, they've always been there or thereabouts, and it just needs that little push to kind of just get them a little bit higher up. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that can happen for you guys. So as I said, whenever the season does start, good luck. I hope it goes really well, and we'll be in touch, no doubt. And we'll try and get you on at some point during the season, or maybe come down and do an interview with you after a game.
Mate, perfect. The beers are on me.
Nicely done. If you guys have enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel as well. And until next time, as always, adios.